We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it! My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
It's time to buckle up for making sense of the madness.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here. And today we are going to be talking about not only the phenomenon of OnlyFans, but where in this country we seem to have the largest concentration of monetary wealth contributing to that organization. And on top of that, we're going to compare it to, say, some European nations all together. And spoiler alert, where am I crowning the capital? And by the way, by the numbers, you could argue that their neighbor, New York City, is actually that capital, but Long Island, New York. Now this story, I caught it last week. I think it came out like maybe a week and a half ago. I had taken it, and I had basically said yet another proof that Long Island is one of the hell pits of the planet. Now I want to clarify that statement for everybody out there, okay? First and foremost, I'm not telling you what you should believe religiously. I'm certainly not invoking some kind of evangelical stance on Long Island, on pornography in general. It's not what I do. I never have done that. However, throughout my travels, throughout my experiences, I have talked throughout my life of hell pits on this planet Earth that I have been to, that I have experienced, that I have spent time with not only the region, but the people that the region produces. Because, believe it or not, folks, I talk about nature versus nurture a lot, and we are, in many ways, once again, products of our environment, okay? And a lot of you guys know that I am from New York, but we're going to get into those demographics in a moment. First and foremost, I'd like to describe to you several of the hell pits that I've experienced in this country. By the way, my movement pretty limited to this country. Never been south of the border to Mexico. Only been to Canada one time, really. I've been up and around the border before, Niagara Falls, etc. But Toronto, really only once. Liked it there. Certainly not going to categorize that as a hell pit. But there are three main hell pits in this country that I have been privy to, that I have spent a significant amount of time in. And they just rubbed me completely the wrong way throughout my experience. They didn't seem to have much redeeming value to me. First and foremost, Long Island. Okay? And I didn't have that experience out of the gates as a young man. As a youngster, I would go down and visit New York City, mainly Brooklyn, most of the time. And believe me, there were very intimidating aspects of the city, from, its size to its smell, to the looks of the Bronx in the 80s and driving through there, and even parts of Brooklyn, right? The ginormousness of Lower Manhattan, all that stuff, right? But never did it even cross my mind. In fact, I was kind of enthralled by the city as an upstate New Yorker, and the idea that that's where the successful people were. That's where the jobs were. If you didn't want to move to the West Coast, you wanted to make something of yourself, New York City was it. And especially as a young guy, as an artist, before digital art and Adobe and all that other stuff was a thing, or me gravitating towards, obviously, documentary films and then news, etc., independent media, that's really where I thought I was going. It wasn't until I went to college and I was surrounded by Long Islanders that I got a sour taste in my mouth. And not only a sour taste in my mouth from the Long Islanders in general, but then actually visiting Long Island through friends and girlfriends, because there's always outliers and anomalies. Just a disgusting place. Just going to say it right now. Not all of you, some of my best friends are there, but a very, very consumeristic, shallow, transactional place where it breeds the worst of people, in my opinion. What kind of car do you drive? What's your house? Who are your parents? What drugs can you get me? What can you do for me? It's nothing about content of character. Okay? And for me, judging people by the content of their character, that supersedes race, right? Supersedes region as well. But, and again, that's why I'm not demonizing all Long Islanders. But I know plenty of Long Islanders got the hell out of there. And very few, there are a few of my very, very successful, good friends that stay there. But they, in large part, agree with me on what a hell pit that place is. So we're going to return there, and it doesn't surprise me that Long Island has this concentration of people spending money on OnlyFans. Again, very transactional in nature, very shallow in nature, not good for your mental health. I'll say that. Now, the other two places that I'm not going to dive as deep into, but Miami, Florida, horrible place. Just, again, if you want to be around a bunch of transactional people that don't care about you or anybody like you, okay, and it's what can you do for me, it's all status. Miami. And then I bet a lot of you can imagine, especially in the loose change days of trying to get that film into theaters, Hollywood/LA. Awful. I was on a long trip with a friend of mine, and we were kind of discussing, and I've talked about this in my career, where, I don't like fame. Even when I get recognized, and thank you for acknowledging me, and certainly when I go to an event, I do want to interact with people, etc., but I find it very awkward. I find it very, I get it. We all need celebrities, and I love movies and, obviously entertainment, all these things. But the idea of fame in general, and especially to be sociopathic and cutthroat for it, as so many people crave it, it rubs me the wrong way. I want my message to get out. Again, I want people to look at my work when I'm looking at important issues. And, I think that's important, but I think there's a fine line. That's why I was so happy during that time period that we had, these 2 paid shows, and I was doing interviews, and I was getting to actually talk to people that I never would have before. That's the kind of life I'd like to lead. Somewhere in the middle, right? And if I ever do get into the zeitgeist of conversation again, outside of a 9/11 or a loose change or that type of thing, I'd really hope that we wouldn't be in such hyperbolic times where I would be a target, because, it's not like I'm playing team baseball here. So let's get into this article on Long Island. Let's talk about the numbers they're spending on OnlyFans and what I make of it. But before we do, I need you to thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Can't do it without you, folks. $5, $10, $15, it absolutely means the world to me. Again, I want to be in this independent media game, and you guys have helped me. Thank you, Bermas Brigade. We also got a PayPal down below. Please consider supporting the broadcast. And, of course, we want to thank Marigold Resources for supporting the broadcast. And rcreader.com, the River City Reader. They got a piece over on Tina Peters right now. Let's talk about it, okay? So, first of all, these numbers are not necessarily real. They're somewhere in this, but Long Island's population is over 8 million when including the New York City boroughs of Brooklyn and Queens, but around 7.7 to 8 million in common usage, focusing on just Nassau and Suffolk counties. Okay, so they blur the line a lot. But if you look at New York City's population, we're talking about 8.5 million. And then I want everybody to know, again, New York, look, you see this state right here? Right down here. Let's see if we can bring it up. This is the state, and right down here, the very where it starts to get dark gray, and that's Long Island, New York City. There's another 10 million plus people up here. And they didn't give us our OnlyFans stats. Again, I'm not trying to be snarky. I'm not trying to be hypocritical. I think there's a balance to everything, okay? I'm not sitting up here and telling you that I don't watch porn and I'm not holier than thou. I can tell you that I don't use OnlyFans, and I was late to the party on even knowing what it was, and I don't spend money on porn. I certainly don't spend money to interact with individuals digitally. I think that, you know, hey, more power to you if that's the career you've chosen, but it speaks to excess, right? I think, you know, again, there are some people that probably shouldn't drink alcohol. I drink alcohol, all right? I try not to drink it in excess. Drugs, depending on which recreational ones we're talking about. Again, when you talk about these issues, everything in moderation. And that can be true for food. Sugar. You know, an ice cream cone is great once in a while. If you're stuffing your face with 2 pints of Ben & Jerry's every day, you're going to get diabetes. You're going to have heart problems. You understand? And when you're not talking about substances, but now you're talking about people and those purchases, you know, I hinted on this a little bit when Glenn Greenwald got caught in his situation where, you know, he had been taped in humiliation porn that he was buying and smoking what seemed to be meth at the time, right? Not a great look. Not a great look, in my opinion. If you're gonna, I can't act like that didn't change my opinion a bit on him, because I get it. You know, you got to be forgiving. You've got to essentially understand that we all do terrible things, right? I ain't Jesus Christmas over here. Just letting you know, not great. Try to do good, but when it comes to those things, like, again, I think I've been to a strip club maybe 3 times, 4 times, you know, outside of the quote-unquote novelty lounge, which was a local bar with a pole, and sometimes there'd be a girl up there. That's another story. Certainly wasn't the type of strip club that you thought. I used to have to deliver pizzas into there, etc. And sometimes I'd pick up friends. You know, it was on the same strip as my bar. And shout out to the Nav. Shout out to Oneonta. But it was in Oneonta where I started to interact with these Long Islanders, right? And I cannot tell you, just from the fact that I was from upstate New York alone, how they just look down upon you. These people looking down upon you because of where you're from. And then when you get into the types of things they're into, it doesn't surprise me. It's OnlyFans. It's paying for a sexual fantasy that is not even there. So the freaky Long Island and city dwellers have joined forces to buy more of the site's porn than huge nations such as Switzerland, France, Italy, and Spain per capita, while also surpassing countries including Greece, Israel, and much of Italy, according to the 2025 OnlyFans Wrapped report by OnlyGilder. Now you get down here, and we'll start talking money, right? Smut Central in the metro area involves a joint 7 million people among the 4 cities who have collectively blown nearly $52 million so far on this year's site. Okay? 7 million people, $52 million. Suffolk County residents spent more than $12.5 million so far this year. Nassau County, $9 million. Okay? So that means Nassau and Suffolk counties combined $21.5 million, translates to roughly $72,600 for every 10,000 residents. Okay? Brooklyn has 2.6 million residents, just under 16 million, and Queens 2.3 million, nearly 16 million as well. But of course, New York City tops it all with $87 million. And look, New York City, again, I talk about how when I was younger and I looked forward to going there, well, even as that teenager and into my early 20s, I remember I'd go there for, weed runs or whatever, and somebody else would be getting like cocaine. And again, I'm not trying to judge people that have done that either, but I've also said people that abuse cocaine, they lose their soul. They become sociopathic, if not psychopathic. All right? And they let a substance control them. I remember we were at this guy's apartment, and it was like right next to the Empire State Building, and the cable channels at the time, this is, late 90s. This is pre 9/11. They had just escort service stuff right there. Just like order yourself an escort. Again, that's just never going to be me. And I understand there are certain places where that is the thing. Even, and I visited Vegas several times. Most people are going there for just like a quick, good time, so you don't get that same vibe. It's very different when like you're very much in the arena day to day in those places and dealing with those people. Because you don't know who you can trust. You become on the defensive. And, for those that want to say, oh, you're being too puritanical, etc. Not only am I going to say the thing about moderation, but when we get down to it, how many people out there want either their son or daughter, either one, in the sex industry? How many? I mean, do you think that is either mentally or physically healthy? And again, I'm not trying to judge, but when you think about it, is that where you want your son or daughter? I mean, try to be honest about it, I guess. That's a short one. What we are going to be doing very, very shortly, everybody, is probably doing a big Epstein live stream. Okay, so get ready for it. Tomorrow's supposed to be Epstein Day. Tomorrow's supposed to be Epstein file day, and we are already getting a bunch of different photographs of Epstein. As you see, remember they had that $20,000 photo tranche where they released like 25 photos, and some of them were Bannon and Chomsky. You had the Woody Allen stuff. There was some new Ehud Barak stuff, etc. They tried to get Trump with that photo that had already been released. It was very bizarre. All of it's been bizarre. But we're going to do a big Epstein update later this afternoon/evening. So I need you to thumbs it up, subscribe, share. Once again, guys, can't do it without you. Please consider supporting the broadcast. All I'm going to say is transmission issues. Just found out had a huge leak. Not sure where it's coming from. Dropping the car off tomorrow. Fingers are crossed. It's not a major thing, but definitely could use the support. $5, $10, $15 absolutely means the world to me. Big donors. Thank you. Wish me luck on the car. We will see you Epstein style. And remember, it is never, ever about left or right. It is always about right and wrong. I absolutely love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.